think I could start this video by saying I played more a variety of video games this year than any year prior. This was just a really big year for my gaming experience. And it's cool to see most of these games on this list were indie. I usually don't go for AAA unless it's a title that directly interests me, but to say the least, it was nice to just play games that maybe I didn't have initial interest in playing first. But to say the least, it was nice to play games that maybe I didn't have the initial interest of playing and found new things to love about those games. I played a total of 58 unique titles ranging from the rare AAA to the absolute banger indie games we got this year. Now, they didn't just nominate, 4 indie games for Game of the Year this year? This was a year of the indie game, a true testament to what truly makes the genre so special. What I like about indie games is that you never know what you're going to get. When you play a AAA game, you're going to get garbage 9 times out of 10. But with indie games, you never know if you're going to get that 10 out of 10 experience that is just so cool to me. I also really delved into licensed games. Hell, I have a whole series about it. I always stood by licensed games aren't as good as they once were, but I think this year really proves that I just need to stop living in the past. There were some seriously good licensed games this year. With that, I do have 2 rules with this list. The biggest is that I had to see the end of the game. If I didn't see the end credits or something similar, I couldn't count the game towards the list. While I was pretty much able to do that for every game I played this year, there were 2 exceptions. One was Hollow Knight Silksong. I suck at this game and I realize it's just easier to admit that than try to rank it fairly when I didn't even play through it. The other was Mafia: The Old Country. I don't know, I completely forgot to record more of the game. Also, no remasters on this list. That's a whole other genre in my opinion when you consider they're just upgraded versions of older games. I don't know, man, it doesn't seem right to rank them. Ladies and gents, this is every 2025 video game I played ranked worst to best. It's Mind's Eye. I gotta say, my worst movie, TV show, and game are so predictable because, come on. I mean, War of the Worlds with Ice Cube was going to be at the bottom of my movie ranking. So it should only make sense that my worst game of 2025 is the one I gladly placed at the bottom of my June ranking and had nothing good to say about. I'll just give you guys a recap of what I said in the June ranking. Mind's Eye is such soulless garbage. But no, a new, fresh AA company, with this being their debut title, made something so corporate and disgusting. If you want to say I'm being ungrateful to a game that clearly took effort, CPR minigame. You want to know the fucked up part? I didn't finish the game when I recorded that. I took a long break from it and chose to catch up on some games I, gave a shit about, but after finishing through Mind's Eye, I can safely tell you, I scraped the surface with this game. Oh, there is a lot to unpack with Mind's Eye. Coming out of absolutely nowhere and being helmed as the debut title of AA company Build a Rocket Boy, which was founded by Rockstar alumni Leslie Benzies, the game definitely had some serious skepticism about it. It pretty much just appeared, it didn't have much build up. It really hyped up that Benzies was a part of the game's development. It teased that it was one of the most ambitious debut projects a company like Build a Rocket Boy could produce. So ambitious, it made several producers of the game leave the company days before it released. We're in trouble. This game somehow had not production issues, as we can't tell that, but rather release issues. Things that just hinted the game wasn't very good. But most of us kept a good head about it because it did seem to offer ambition. That is, the ambition to drive myself off a cliff! Yeah, no shit, this game isn't very good, but I don't think it's stated how not very good it is. Mind's Eye is the exact issue you get when a game relies so heavily on star power. Something that's kind of become regular in the industry is attaching certain names to certain games. Similar to directors in their movies or animated films to their studios. Sid Meier, Hideo Kojima, Tim Schafer, it's become regular that names are associated with certain projects, and it's clear they wanted Benzies to carry this game's legacy, and unfortunately, we have to realize that every indie company tries to be Rockstar at some point. Rockstar is the absolute crockpot of success. Their games are constant quality and always have a fan base. So when games like Saints Row 2022, or to an extent a game like Star Wars Outlaws, tries to come along and give us the next big open world experience, it doesn't work because Rockstar has quality control. You're able to expect nothing but the best from Rockstar and their work. You can't expect that from Bootysoft, so how can you expect that from a company that has no identity? The game is just a shitty linear GTA. It has practically no differences in its gameplay. The entire game follows Jacob Diaz driving from one area, shooting up them bad guys, drive to another area, pick someone up, and take them to a shitty cutscene, drive to another area and shoot up more bad guys, CPR minigame. Sorry, I should have put a trigger warning for the 5 people who've played Mind's Eye. This minigame became so infamous that the developers nerfed it for how frustrating it got to those who played it. Even the core idea of Mind's Eye, which is the Mind's Eye menu that allows you to do different levels, sometimes user created. I'm sorry, user created? What, the two that exist? And one of them is Benzies? This doesn't work because you can't really explore with this idea. You can just tell they're trying to do the online levels from GTA Online, but this is Mind's Eye and that's GTA Online. Learn the difference, Mom. It seems whenever the game tries something new, it actually somehow fails more than when it's just a generic third-person shooter. There's this level where we control a drone in this corrupt CEO guy's apartment, but we can't be too loud. I'm not kidding you. This entire segment should have taken me about 10 minutes. It took me 30 because I never knew where to go. The waypoints are non-existent. Also, whenever you drive somewhere, this timer sets off on the minimap. It never did anything so it matches the rest of the game. There's this one level where you follow a guide drone through a city crawling with bad guys, and I'm not kidding, I died more here than anywhere else in this game. And now let's get on to the controls because my god. Shooting is so awkward because it kind of locks on enemies, but it doesn't really matter because the AI on the enemies is so janky. The driving is awkward. Sometimes I'd run into an obstacle I had no idea was there. Jacob Diaz is such a nothing protagonist. He exists to be the basic hero who doesn't know who he is, and I don't care. I just don't give a fuck, dude. Oh, and it ends on a cliffhanger. Now, Benzies, I don't know what you think you got here, but it ain't a game worth a cliffhanger. It really makes me feel bad for Benzies, as he clearly is a talented creator. His resume is no joke. I want this company to come back with a game worthwhile. This company can turn it around if they ditch whatever this was and make a game worth the time and money. But for now, we have to live with this multi-million-dollar mistake, easily beyond the worst game of 2025. Hey there, is that a Nintendo Switch 2 I see you're holding, Jimbo? Now, you must have spent a pretty penny on that little device, huh?
$600, but who's counting?
Do you like your Nintendo Switch 2?
Well, yeah, I love this thing. I mean, it's a solid console, it's got fucking no games, I'm set, okay? But I really need someone to tell me how good my console is.
Well, then you must be looking for the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. A fully detailed game that shows you the power of Nintendo Switch 2. All the specs, all the love and hard work going into designing Nintendo's latest and greatest. It comes with bare minimum gameplay, and the whole point is to collect stamps based around the different pieces of the Switch 2 hardware.
All this technical talk is making me wet. Tell me more.
Yes, many games are included, but some of them you gotta have a 4K TV to play them.
Well, as a former college student, 100K in debt, I definitely have money for a 4K TV.
But that's not all. The game actually looks nice with a unique style that might be good for any other game, but for Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, it makes it even better. Just look at this slipping animation your character does on the Nintendo Switch 2 LED screen.
Damn, that is pretty good!
Every bit of the game feels like it would have been better as a tutorial, a setup for your console if you will, but not for the Switch 2. We went the extra mile and gave you a whole game around it. And don't forget the whole ass area centered around accessories that you definitely own, like the Nintendo Switch 2 microphone attachment.
I'm still paying off the $600 I paid for this thing, but I have money for that.
Of course you do, you're a Nintendo fan. And don't forget that tedious process of collecting stamps that you will never be able to find because there's no indicator of where they are. Usually that's a plus as you're able to explore the levels more, but these aren't levels, they're the Nintendo Switch 2 console, so you don't need to explore them.
Oh, because the Switch 2 is so deep and so rich with context that you don't even need to think about it?
Sure, and don't forget the one cool part of the game, seeing the inside of the console. These minigames feel like they would be table scraps for Nintendo Land, but we're convinced Nintendo fans will just consider this Nintendo Land too. All in all, the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour is an absolute must for Nintendo Switch 2 owners, because as we know, Nintendo Switch 2 owners are stupid.
Well, I sure hope I have to pay for this experience.
Well, you're in luck. The Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour is $10.
Have sex with me.
Whoa,
Have sex.
no,
Pull your
wait,
pants
hey,
down.
stop!
Forecast didn't call for a storm. Why does that cloud spell out Gamemill? Son of a bitch.
Yep, it's time. Kinda surprised it took me 3 entries to get to my favorite little guy's Gamemill. They produced 5 games that I played, and the worst of them came in the form of Hot Wheels Let's Race Ultimate Speed.
A Netflix animated show based on Hot Wheels. I hate that this game made me Google that.
Yep, a game based on a Netflix kids show I've never watched or even heard of. And god does the driving suck in this game. Jesus, can I get a grip? Look at how bouncy this car is. The game controls horribly. It's impossible to even know where you're going. I give credit to Hot Wheels Unleashed, it's flawed, but I at least can control it. It's frustrating to control this game. Other than that, it's a racing game with very little to offer. Like most Gamemill games, I won't forget it, sadly. Well, you know what they say, Gamemill always strikes twice. The second of the 5 Gamemill titles I played this year, we have Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny. I gotta give credit, this wasn't on my 2025 bingo card. The Nicktoons series making a comeback? On God, we're back. Gamemill made it, on God, we're front. Well, first it seems like a cool idea, a Nicktoons RPG beat-em-up dungeon crawler type deal. That's kinda cool. But this is the Big Rigs company, y'all. Where did it go wrong? Well, I'll tell you, this game is beyond frustrating to play in the latter half. It seems like the idea of Dice of Destiny was there, and I was tricked into thinking this game had potential in the first few worlds, but then, halfway through, it just got difficult out of nowhere. It's so obvious the game is made to be played as SpongeBob, as he is the easiest moveset of the group. There's only 9 playable Nicktoons, which, cool, but there was so much potential with a bigger roster. Hell, most of them are either SpongeBob characters or just useless. Y'all did not learn from Nickelodeon kart racers, huh? The 2D approach also looks weird. It just seems lazy when you consider 20 years ago this was the look and vibe of a Nicktoons game.
Jimmy, no!
The one thing I'll give is that there's these little challenge towers. You roll a dice to get a challenge and you have to fight enemies to earn a nice reward. The reward in question was always kind of trivial, but it was a nice little addition. This company is known to add shit that infamously ruins the game, so I'm glad this was a good addition. Case in point, the boss fights are atrocious. They take forever. You mostly have to keep up with them and the damage you do just doesn't compute. It takes you forever to get it over with, not to mention if you die you have to restart. The Angelica boss fight took 20 minutes, dead ass. It's a great idea, phenomenal idea. But these guys chose to release that fuck-ass Last Airbender game, so we deal with the consequences of our actions in giving this company money and allowing them to somehow fumble what could have been a generational game. And it's no secret I didn't get into Little Nightmares 3. On one hand, I'm a big fan of these games and such, I wanted the third game to do good. But let's just face the facts. This wasn't made by the original developers that made the original 2 games, and instead it was made by the developers Supermassive Games. Wait, Massive? Supermassive Games has a catalog of decent horror titles. We got Dead by Daylight.
Alright, Xander, you're 4 months off of April Fool's. I thought you said decent horror titles, am I right?
The casting of Frank Stone. But okay, they got stuff like The Quarry and the Dark Pictures anthology, so they have a decent variety in how they can interpret horror. Too bad none of those games I talked about have any similarities to Little Nightmares. So this game, while running and looking like Little Nightmares, doesn't have that same vibe or horror. The horror of Little Nightmares came from the fear and the anticipation of knowing something was going to happen. You knew at any moment you could be chased by man-made horrors, and that was what made it so special. Here, it seems like it's better at building up the anticipation, but without any payoff. It just throws stupid shit at you at most random moments. It's not nearly as scary. It's also incredibly short, only 4.5 hours to complete all the areas. And a lot of that time isn't nearly spent enough on actually interesting scary shit. The most I ever felt this even compared to the original 2 games was this moment where this crawly fuck chases you. It's actually really scary and they build him up well. Probably the only threat I was actually scared by. And man, talk about a bottom 3 ending. If I had to say which 3 endings disappointed me the most in gaming this year, I'd say Mind's Eye, I'll get back to you on that, this ending. On top of having a final boss that lasts way too damn long, it just seems soulless, like a half-assed attempt to recreate the gut-wrenching, soul-punching ending of the second game. But it doesn't come off like that. It's so obvious this game was made with the intention of just putting the franchise to bed. Supermassive Games clearly didn't care about the product at hand and just wanted to get rid of it as quick as possible. Not quick enough, there's a $15 DLC that you can't even play yet. If you want the official Little Nightmares 3, don't waste $40 on this shit show. Do me a favor, a real genuine favor, from me to you, Xander to person, check out Reanimal. It's coming out in February and it's from the original developers of Little Nightmares 1 and 2, and it looks like everything we wanted in what this game tries to be. Please go support the original developers, and if you have the money, get the game. It's gonna cost the exact amount of this, and I guarantee it'll be twice the game this was. What a disappointing mess. Oh, and no couch co-op. Hey, Supermassive, do you like money? No? Yeah, then keep it up. By this rate, you'll be the ones to bring back the Sly Cooper games, and you'll add a CPR minigame, and then you'll be broke, you stupid bitch! Alright, not a lot of simulators on this list. I only ever feature them if I have something to say. Like, damn, I don't have anything to say about Rap House Simulator?
I have so many notes.
Storage Hunter Simulator.
Gobi.
This was a simulator game based around storage hunting. What white-ass redneck hick was that turned on by Storage Wars? And yes, this is a through and true, honest-to-God simulator of that boring-ass A&E show. It's like if someone watched Survivor and said, ooh, what if we made a game about shit? The idea is there, and in practice the gameplay isn't that bad. The game itself, on the other hand, oh my god, what a mess. Even on the bitch-ass low settings I had the game running on, I just couldn't get the game to run to its full potential. The storage hunting stuff is fine, but I realized one problem off the bat. This is my truck, this is my haul. Woo, bitches, I got me a new TV! The stacking is one of the most frustrating features in a simulator game I've seen in some time. I just don't get why the unit would contain all that, but my truck can barely contain your mom. I also accidentally made my brother-in-law for a character, oops. It's broken, man. The game apparently was in early access before 2025, and I hear a lot of people say it was a good game before its 1.0 release. So I just wonder what could have went wrong. Whatever the case, the game clearly had good stuff in it, but for the little gameplay, it is fine. It just gets boring so quick. Like I said, it is broken beyond belief. Cuff Bust had such potential as a game. Seriously, from the few sessions I recorded, I had a damn blast. The idea of a prison escape friend slop game just seemed perfect for me and the guys. And then the game just never received another update. Oh, okay, so let me get this straight. I pay the original price of $20. I don't refund it so I can get the pay cut price. I wait for my friends to get it. I play a few sessions with my friends on a single map I didn't even want, and I come in months later to find no updates on the game. The game is simple. You're a koala alien of some sort, and you gotta bust out of prison and escape. The concept is super cool, and I'm surprised how few friend slop games have a prison escape ID. So that's why the lack of dev updates just hurts, dude. It came out with one map, and I don't think they've given any more. I don't know if the idea just isn't working for them or they just moved on, but it's a total sham for the people who wanted it to work and wanted it to be good. I sure did. It was cool that they weren't just gonna do another horror game. Yeah, these are the guys behind Choo Choo Charles. There's some research. I was glad they were gonna try something new, but if you're just gonna abandon the idea, what's the point? It's like being too lazy to learn art yourself, so you just use AI. Fuck you, AI users, you're not artists. I got sidetracked. Cuff Bust is a good idea, but damn it, it needs more from its developers. I can't say what we got was bad, just underwhelming. Oh, hi, Gamemill. I miss you. No, I didn't. Snoopy and the Great Mystery Club. A fine game, I guess? A Peanuts game from the guys behind DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing. Oh, I can't wait. The idea is that Snoopy forms the Great Mystery Club. Why? Do you give a shit? The game is comprised of Snoopy and the Peanuts going around solving mysteries that take so long to get through. So to give you an idea of why this game's core concept is fine but gets really boring, the second chapter has us solving this big kite fiasco. Bunch of kites going missing. Gee, I wonder what the livity-divity hell happened to them. It's almost like whenever kites are involved in Peanuts, there's always one joke it ties into. But get this, we have to go to the forest, do something, then go to the school, ask Marcy to do something for us. She joins us against our will. We go back to the forest, get 2 feet further than what we did. Marcy suggests we go back to the school.
No, Charlie Brown. There's probably a...
No, not a good idea. Fucking goddamn, I'm stopping. Linus stands on the wall and does nothing.
We should ask Franklin. He was carrying a box earlier. Maybe it was full of football equipment.
Hey, what you mean by that? Nah, I want to hear this argument. This suddenly got very interesting. They add a bunch of mini games that I guess adds variety, and they are fun to control, so I'll give them that, but each chapter takes you around an hour, and they could easily take you a shorter amount of time if the fast travel wasn't the most useless damn thing in the world. Oh, I'm not kidding. The fast travel in this game is just about useless, because the closest fast travel point to that forest is down the street from the park. Trust me, that time adds up. And don't get me wrong, it looks nice. The models look nice and the world is very open, which I'm not used to in Gamemill titles. And I give the Red Baron levels are probably the only thing better in this than Snoopy's Grand Adventure, and you know I like that game quite a bit. But the mystery stuff is also annoying because you have to pay Sally in order to attempt and reattempt if you fail too many times. It's long and boring, but give credit, it's playable and not nearly as frustrating as, say, the last 2 Gamemill games. Oh, Gamemill, you just gotta piss me off. Goosebumps Terror in Little Creek is very confusing, but I'll give below average children's horror game. It follows a girl who notices strange goings on in the town of Little Creek. It's up to us to help her solve this mystery. On paper, this is a cool idea. Avoiding or even fighting monsters, but preserving your resources so you can survive. That's a really good idea, and I will say, I found it a fun kind of difficult to preserve items. It's the closest Gamemill will ever be able to replicate Resident Evil 4's inventory system. Sloan is so fucking dumb, it's kind of funny. If this was a slasher, she wouldn't be the main character, she'd be the opening death. It also looks really nice, yeah, it's got some lazy visuals, but everything about the levels does scream Goosebumps to me. Don't get it twisted though, the biggest issue in this game are the puzzles. It's like Gamemill suddenly remembered after building all the levels and actually making up a good kind of sense of Goosebumps, they said, oh shit, we made big rigs, so we have to make some sort of frustrating thing that'll piss people off. The puzzles are so damn unfair. Because on top of solving the puzzles, you also have a monster who's usually around every corner. So on top of solving the puzzles, you have to avoid those monsters. A good example is this train puzzle in the last half of the game. You have to guide a train onto various different tracks. On its own, I guess it's fine, but I forgot about the goddamn xenomorph that's usually tracking along the square. You better not so much as look in her direction or your ass is alien grass. The entire game is made up of puzzles like that, and while I give it adds a bit of challenge, it makes the game almost unplayable. But looking back, I do appreciate the visuals on this one. It was so easy for them to go lazy again, but man, they did do their homework and made a game that looked like Goosebumps. Oh, I forgot to mention the voice acting. So as an overall experience, I can't fully say I recommend Terror in Little Creek, but I can at least say it's a little less frustrating than the other three. Paws of Fury? Really? Paws of Fury got a game? Oh, this was one of the weird years for licensed games, so you know what they say. Yeah, Samurai Academy Paws of Fury is not a good game, but we are getting to the stuff I actually enjoy to an extent. It's a beat 'em up where you play as Hank, having to go through waves of enemies to defend the ones you love. Super simple gameplay, but admittedly it's fine for what it is. When it's the samurai stuff. Yeah, this stuff is awesome, but you know what I love? Finding a deadbeat husband. Oh, goody! Yeah, for some reason, the game interstitches these little chores we gotta do, such as finding different collectibles, helping someone with an errand, and yes, a series of missions dedicated to finding someone's husband who just wants to get the fuck away from his wife. I felt bad for helping the wife, but I had no choice. The samurai legacy must live on. This stuff is pretty by the numbers. Not bad, just very unnecessary in the grand scheme of things. But let's not dawdle around because we haven't even talked about the best part. Hank's terrible voice acting.
I quit. This is stupid. I am not doing the tutorial training course. Boing.
Yeah, for some reason, I have no idea why, Michael Cera doesn't reprise Hank, and not knocking the guy who did the voice for him in this, he did a terrible job. And fuck, he makes these horrendous sounds for everything you do. But the fighting is actually very fun. A little rough when there's multiple enemies, but combat's smooth and easy to get down. It's one of the weirdest damn licensed games this year, and I haven't even talked about my beloved skunk bride-to-be. A pinball game that makes you mad.
Well, see, I can't get mad at that title.
What the fuck?
Oh, but I can!
Yeah, so something I'm sure people have seen recently is the rage games inspired by Bennett Foddy. I played two that are notably like that, and the one I can't absolutely and will absolutely blame on bad controls is a pinball game that makes you mad. Having a very similar setup to Bennett Foddy, the whole idea for this game is that you climb a pinball machine. However, something I will tell you is that Bennett Foddy at least had climbable level design. The idea was that it controlled like shit, but it was doable. Look at this one area I'm at. Tell me what you think I'm supposed to do. Because you're wrong. Stop telling me what to do. The whole point is that you're supposed to get this little pinball into this little flap and keep it there by balancing it. The game already doesn't control good, so I just said fuck it and stopped playing. Biggest waste of $10 I've ever done. Okay, I can't even say that. So the rest of this will just be me getting mad at the narrator because Bennett Foddy clones have one joke and it's not funny.
You think you've lost progress,
I can
but in truth,
literally
you've only
turn your
proven
skin
how
inside
fragile.
out.
Yes, let's give this another shot. I'm sure it will work out this time.
Your mom's gonna work out on my dick.
Let's pretend
I
that didn't.
will have your dick for breakfast.
Another chance to reflect on your choices.
Don't buy a $10 game that's bullshit, thank you. Another chance to reflect on your choices. Like, fuck off with that British shit.
What's 9 plus 10? 21.
It's not rage quitting, it's called doing myself a favor. And it shouldn't be too surprising I played a few platformers. They are in fact my favorite genre next to puzzle games and open world games, so it shouldn't surprise too many people that a good portion of these are going to be platformers. With that, let's take a look at one of the lesser platformers I played this year, Ruffy and the Riverside. Ruffy and the Riverside had a lot of great ideas for a platform. You play as a little bear named Ruffy, who I swore was an Ewok from Star Wars, as he must use the ability of the swap to solve puzzles and save the world. The swap is an incredibly complicated but really unique tool. You hold down and release the right bumper to grab an element, and hold down and release the right trigger to put it onto another object. This is a really cool tool that may have worked if the puzzles were more consistent. No joke, every puzzle in this game is either too damn complicated or the simplest shit. This makes what should be a really good tool that in practice could make Ruffy a standout platformer of the year, and sadly overshadows it as the gameplay isn't consistent enough to help it stand out. With that, I can't say it's frustrating or even bad, it's just an incredibly mismatched platformer. The music is nice and obviously the visuals look good. Something I find more fun was just fucking around with the certain elements. Haha, chicken jockey! What have you done? You've doomed us all! All of ocean life has been burnt to a crisp! Oh well. What do you mean, oh well? You just fucking doomed us! Now we'll never get off this island! Get over it, bro. Are you rage baiting me right now? What do you mean get over it? I fucking do! So while it is a bit of a mismanaged project, I still can't with good conscience say it's a bad game. It's just an underwhelming game when you compare it to some of the other platformers we've gotten this year. But it's got an idea that really should propel it further. Overall, I think it's a fine platformer, just not a great one. I don't think I've ever played a good Lord of the Rings game. Wait, yes I have. Well, this ain't no Lego Lord of the Rings, folks. Tales of the Shire is a decent idea, a Hobbit-based cozy game life simulator. Now that seems simple, and while there's nothing really inherently wrong with it, I can't say it's a particularly good game either. You heard that right, this is a cozy Hobbit life simulator where you cook meals and go around Hobbiton, find a book of Hobbit rules, and the style is my biggest issue. Cozy games have a reputation of choosing gameplay substance rather than having a good art style, because, come on, the game will make up for the lazy visuals. Yeah, if you're Stardew Valley, this is Tales of the Shire. A lot of cozy games opt to be lazy with their styles and such, none of them look good and they don't stand out. I can at least say I got maybe an hour of fun exploring the different Hobbit areas. The first immediate issue I ran into was the navigating. My initial thought was I had to keep pulling up my map and that got really annoying. But it turns out I just suck at looking at my screen because these birds here actually tell me where to go. Even then, it's not incredibly obvious, and once it gets more specific on where your objective is, those birds don't do shit. Do you guys like my diva of a Hobbit? Their name is Primrose. Good enough. I guess the cooking part was actually alright. I thought that was fun. I've always wanted to do an Animal Crossing clone video one day. This wouldn't be one, I don't think. Honestly, let me know if you're familiar with these two games. I think my Hobbit's last name kind of sums up my thoughts unironically. It's good enough. It doesn't stand out, which really should be the biggest issue. It's a solid idea, but it doesn't have anything going for it past an hour or two. Overall, it's a good idea, and there's a decent amount of fun to be had, but once it runs dry, it runs really dry. Just like Primrose Good Enough's toes. Phew, we're almost getting to the good stuff. My throat's starting to get dry. The other Bennett Foddy-esque game I played was Egging On. You play as an egg, here's my best of compilation. Honestly, I'm gonna get really lazy with these next few entries. No! Please! Oh, stop! Oh my god! Okay, well, how long I've been recording? Because I'm worried it's in the 20s, and... Okay. Stop! I'm gonna do a little jump here. What are you doing? Oh! Bop at the video game.
Pull it! Twist it!
Yeah! Oh yeah! I love you! Bear my children!
Well, Xander, this ranking sucks ass, but at least you didn't play a sports game, right? You didn't. You didn't play any sports games, did you? Oh, no, you're kidding. You're fucking kidding. Which one? No, not that one!
Yeah. Hey, if I was gonna play any of the annual sports titles that come out each year, I might as well play the one I'd had the most fun with. WWE 2K25. What can I say? It's so damn stupid, but it's kind of a fun stupid. Seeing KSI in a Prime bottle getting ragdolled around is my favorite pastime now. I admit I couldn't record too much footage, this game's 100 gigabytes for ungodly reasons, but as someone who's slowly getting into the wrestling scene, I think this one's alright. Yep, for once in Gamemill's life, they made a game that's not even in my top 40, but these guys release STDs on the gaming community. It should be an honor that their 5 major releases this year weren't just my 5 worst games of the year. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is a janky platformer, incredibly short, and has some of the most by-the-numbers platforming, but give credit, it is Rudolph through and through. Except it's Rudolph in September. I still don't get why they released it 3 months earlier than Christmas, but that doesn't matter. The game is definitely shorter than the other games from this company, but they feel like the spirit of the special. The voice acting gets a little questionable at times. The races are a little too easy, but there are some challenges that make you want to explore more of the level. Gamemill! Who are you, and what did you do with Gamemill? I will admit, the platforming ain't perfect. Some of it just gets obnoxious. There were a lot of times I died because the platforming was kind of frustrating, but I have to give credit. It is one of the more playable Gamemill games. I guess I can say the level design is also a little lazy, but again, each level, for as few as there are, does offer enough to keep younger kids busy. I don't know, I guess when I hear the guys behind Big Rigs made of Rudolph game, this isn't entirely what I thought I'd get. Overall, good job, Gamemill. Let this be your standard for 2026. No, the fuck! Okay, skip time. Why weren't you at elf practice? I told you, I don't want to be an elf. I want to be a YouTuber. What the fuck are you talking about? What talents could you possibly have to be anything other than an elf? That's the beauty of it, sir. Being a YouTuber requires no talent. That's it! I've had enough of you! Give up on this YouTube shit or you're fired! Why am I such a misfit? Everyone is a dipshit. They can suck on this elf dick. I'll get millions of views. Yeah, right. Okay, thankfully this is the last licensed game for a bit, as we have Chicken Hair and the Treasure of Spiking Beard. Chicken Hair was definitely not on my licensed game 2025 bingo card, but neither were Paws of Fury, Rudolph, or Goosebumps. I need to stop gambling my rent money on licensed game bingo. This is a perfectly good platformer. Some decent levels, challenging bosses, and Meg. Reminder, recorded it. Yeah! My mental health is decreasing. There's not much I can add on from my November 2025 licensed game videos, so if you want more, go check that out. I just have to keep reminding people we got this in the big 25. Borderlands 4, make no mistake, is not a bad game. It is simply a standard Borderlands game. Yeah, I can live with us not getting another Borderlands game for a while. Gearbox clearly has fatigue with it. What should be one of my favorites of the year realistically, as this is one of my favorite game franchises, Borderlands 4 falls short of standing out next to the others. Call it that Borderlands 2 had a major impact on the franchise and such, set a golden standard so early, but none of the games past 2 could even hold a candle to it. At its best, Tales of the Borderlands did offer a unique take, but that was from Telltale Games, of course it was. This one just doesn't stand out. Not bad, it's just kind of forgettable. Hey, you want to know something fucked up? For a whole month, maybe a little less, Big Helmet Heroes was my top game of 2025. I thought it was a cute beat 'em up with some decent character variety, admittedly a short game span, but I also admit the biggest highlight was how the game works. The variety of characters and their abilities. I'll admit, as much as Castle Crashers is a better game, the one thing this game has is the variety of characters. You really gotta think about which 2 characters you want to use for certain levels. The whole game is just you beating up enemies to save a princess who doesn't want to be saved. You know what? Disney was onto something. It's about as standard a beat 'em up as it gets. You can't really complain. I complained about the last level. This level just sucked ass. It tricks you into thinking you died, but it turns out the twist was your friends come in to help you, and why not just let me switch between the heroes as I go, just for this level? Honestly, if the other levels weren't good, this would be lower. But these levels are very creative, especially for the game being so short. Only about 20 levels, and they fit a lot of creative designs and gameplay elements. Can I say it's a 10 out of 10 beat 'em up like Shredder's Revenge or Streets of Rage? No, but it's a solid ass time with some fun levels to go through. I suck at Peak and that's why it's so low. Yeah, I don't have to yield to your horseshit expectations of me. I stuck at this game into story. That being said, Peak is a very fun mountain climbing game with a unique style, funny enough moments regarding the ragdoll physics. Don't let my anger and unbridled rage towards this game fool you, it is a good game. So EA finally did something right and released an early access version of Skate 4, simply called Skate. I played an unhealthy amount of skateboarding games in 2025. With that, Skate is not a perfect sequel, but man is it a fun one. Once again, I think I'm just going to show you guys a highlight reel of my sessions.
Don't do it, Xander! I pull my hand! Grab my hand! No!
All hail Plankton! All hail Plankton! All hail Plankton!
No.
This was the year I finally caved and played through Amanda the Adventurer, a trilogy of horror puzzle games centered around a seemingly innocent kids show. This is one of the more creatively influenced horror games from the FNAF craze of mascot horror. Like, if Hello Neighbor and Garden of Banban are considered bad products of that craze, this and, say, Poppy Playtime, specifically the latter chapters, would be really good ones. Amanda the Adventurer 3 is the final one in the franchise, tying up loose ends and still having puzzles I have to look up to solve. A big thing with this trilogy is pausing the episodes at the right time to get some of the much needed clues. When you consider this one ties up all the loose ends of the overarching story and explains everything, Amanda the Adventurer 3 does good, but I'll admit, it is my least favorite of the trilogy. I think the second one just succeeded as a sequel. It built up on gameplay mechanics from the first game and made something really good. The third game doesn't do that a lot, but it doesn't do anything I really disliked. I just feel that with this being the final one, I wanted this to push it further, make it the best yet, and sadly, it just kinda didn't do that. That being said, Amanda the Adventurer 3 may not be a perfect trilogy ender, but it is a good trilogy ender. Can't wait to see what the studio does next, honestly. So, last year I talked about a game called On Your Tail. This is a snippet from that segment. Cute kid. But looking back on it, I think I made a huge precedent that will now plague all of my end-of-year game rankings. I have to have at least one safe for YouTube furry game on the end-of-year game rankings. Admittedly, looking back on the footage of On Your Tail, I'll take the L here and say I understand someone saying it's a corn game. You want to say that about this guy, huh? The Were Cleaner is a free Steam game about a werewolf janitor who has to clean up a mess at the office he works at every night. On the surface, this seems like a cute enough game, not to mention it's a super short game, which you can expect for it being free. The style's cute, kind of reminds me of Animal Crossing, the concept's simple and easy to get down. So what could be the, oh no, it's pretty brutal, dude. If someone sees you, you gotta kill them and clean up their guts and blood, adding to the mess. What a total shit show, but it's so damn fun. I just felt bad when someone would see me and I know they've drawn their last breath. I'm a pacifist at heart, so I try to avoid human detection with this game, but sometimes it is challenging. With that, the only reason it's so low is purely its runtime. Only 30 minutes, but give credit, it's free. So at the end of the day, it's a simple free game that takes advantage of that. Oh shit, I'm losing the animation fans. Elroy and the Aliens is hand-drawn. We have been eating good with hand-drawn animation in 2025. 2 major films utilizing hand-drawn animation from notable animation studios. And add onto it, an indie point-and-click having hand-drawn assets. It's a story of a young man named Elroy who finds out his dad is alive and out there. And when we say out there, we mean out there. He's in an alien civilization and it's up to us to find him and bring him home. The entire game is simple and to the point. And click. But give credit, the style does help it stand out. I usually think of Sam & Max or any other Telltale games. This one simply being hand-drawn gives it an edge. Also, the writing is super witty and charming. Kinda reminds me of Day of the Tentacle or even Grim Fandango. Just a witty game with charming characters. Elroy's kind of a twink, but we vibe. Do I have a complaint? Yeah, the dad's in it for like 20 minutes. For being the guy we hunted down the entire game, he really ain't in it long. Also, there's an annoyingly long part in the middle where we play as Peggy and we have to free Elroy from the snail race thing, and it takes a long time just for us to get in there. There's a few moments like that, but as a package, Elroy and the Aliens was an underground surprise for me. Oh my god, I get to talk about LEGO games again. I choose not to think about that video, but we got LEGO Party. Not LEGO Voyagers also dropped this year, but I didn't have the time to play it, on top of the fact that I needed a friend willing to shell out 25 big ones to play it with me. This one doesn't force co-op, it's just sad when you play it without friends. It's a Mario Party LEGO game, different maps, one of them being Ninjago, okay that's lit. The different ways the game throws twists at you are honestly very unique. The one problem are the mini-games, they're not like god-awful, they're just okay. I keep thinking these should be really creative LEGO-based mini-games, but they are just standard party mini-games and I guess they're fine. These hosts are talking my damn ear off, so that's fun. I like it aesthetically. I don't know, it's just cool. I like the funny LEGO Party game. Tiny Bookshop is a super simple game. You run a tiny bookshop. You suggest books to customers and try to make a profit. 0 skill, 0 brain, still fun. And it's not the same as Tales of the Shire where the style isn't good. I do think this game stands out nicely with its visuals. Oh, and the music goes insane, dude.
Play that good shit!
Now, it is a very straightforward game and didn't really push me further to play it past maybe an hour at a time, but most cozy games are like that, and this one works pretty well. Oh, Pokemon Legends ZA, you bastard of a game. If Mario fans have been eating good recently, Pokemon fans have been eating like it's Soviet Russia. We have not been getting good games. Legends ZA, however, is a cool take on Pokemon. Fuck the gym badges going around and talking to strangers. This way, I can talk to strangers in dark alleyways. All taking place in one big city. The goal of the game is to rank up from Z to A to get your wish granted. The combat style is similar to Legends Arceus, which was one of the better Pokemon games of recent years. And as someone who got used to the old school turn-based style, it definitely took me a while, but otherwise this game was fine. I guess it's not Scarlet Violet bad, so it works out.
Hi, I'm the president of Pokemon.
Now what the fuck do you want?
I'm glad you asked. See, we here at Pokemon are celebrating the 30th anniversary of our franchise, and we have a lot of plans, including the next big Pokemon game.
Really?
Breathtaking visuals, Pokemon like you've never seen it. We are going to the VR realm. That's right, a VR Pokemon game. Well, get your ass ready, because in 2026, we are dropping Pokemon Alarm Clock.
I'm going to skin you. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii was one of my 2 introductions to the Yakuza series. I've never played any of them except Like a Dragon and this spin-off where you play as a pirate in Hawaii. This game is so fucking goofy, and according to my future brother-in-law, that's how this series just works. It's dumb and goofy for the sake of being dumb and goofy. He actually agrees this is one of the weaker entries, but shit, if this is what the weak entry looks like, I do want to see the rest of it. You think you're financially irresponsible? I bought a log cabin simulator for $10. Log Away is not a top-tier masterpiece, but again, as a cozy game, it works at the one thing it sets out to be. In this game, you create log cabins. Seems simple, but you soon learn that certain things help a cabin be truly cozy. This heart in the corner tells you how cozy your cabin is, and trust I did my damnedest to get it to 100, and I did, bitches. It's again very simple and it even gets kind of boring after 20 minutes, but trust that for those 20 minutes, cozy gamers can get their fix. I just liked getting into first person mode and looking around at the log cabins I made, which became a bitch to do when it got dark. Log cabins are a fun aesthetic to play around with, and this game took full advantage. Thanks for watching, y'all. Wait, fuck, I got 28 games left. Banjo-Kazooie mentioned. Paperclay was a short and sweet platformer clearly inspired by Banjo-Kazooie. It's got the same collectathon vibe, except everything is made out of paper and clay. It creates such a fun aesthetic, and the music complements it perfectly. Even the levels themselves are fun to go through, as they all have varying degrees that sure are to keep you guessing. Yeah, most of these levels are fun. Most of them. The Nugget levels are fucking annoying. This is why I cannot play Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, bro. I hate these rotating designs, dude. It took me too damn long to do the one on the last level. That shit was obnoxious to solve. But okay, one element doesn't hurt the entire game because thankfully the rest of it was really fun and imaginative despite it being so short. And I actually just found out the people behind Banjo's soundtrack also did this one, so ain't that just swell. I'm actually going to do a Banjo-Kazooie clone video, and I probably will give this one its own shout out because it's super charming. Doom: The Dark Ages is a good Doom game and nothing else. It didn't really push the series forward or make any big changes that help it stand out, but damn it, most Doom fans just really like it when you don't fuck with their shit. They want demon guts on their screen and lots of it. The game is a medieval take on the Doom formula. Fight demons and protect the villagers from destruction. 22 levels here, each with kinda similar designs. However, it gets the Doom stuff down perfectly. Even if I thought the weapons not being very medieval outside of 2 of them, that was a little weird, but who cares? I'm blasting demon gore fests across my screen. It's so fun to get into the groove of this, man. Talk about satisfying animations to go along with it. There's multiple times we'd fly onto this damn dragon and I was splooging behind the scenes, trust. Or us in the big robot suit, again, I don't see how that's medieval, but who cares? I do think that single idea can sum up Doom. Flaws exist, who cares? It's fun to play. Which brings me to the one gameplay element I was a little let down by, the final boss. I felt like it was a little underwhelming. I mean, they really built this fight up and it just kind of went nowhere. Also, the music isn't done by Mick Gordon, who's been a long-time composer for the franchise, and it shows. But again, these are problems that normal Doom fans won't have an issue with. It's badass demon killing fun, and that's what it should always boil down to. If you took the entire aesthetic of the 80s Macintosh and made a skateboarding game out of it, you'd get something like Skate Story. One of the last games I played this year, Skate Story took a simple idea of a glass demon skater trying to eat the moon and made a visual mindfuck out of it. Yeah, this game's visuals and music really carried because the skateboarding's a little awkward to control. I do think by that standard, Skate Story fell a little flat, but make no mistake, it still offers a lot. Going through each world to eat different moons, it's visually insane, and I do not recommend this game if you just smoke some dank shit. I really enjoyed this one, definitely a good one to go out on. When I tell you Power Wash Simulator 2 has to be the dumbest idea for a game I've ever heard. How do you even make a sequel to Power Wash Simulator? That seems like a stupid task. Well, thankfully, Power Wash Simulator 2 got me with one simple trick. It added a hub world. I love hub worlds. Yep, you can buy furniture for your HQ and you have to clean it off yourself. What the fuck? Where did I buy this? The storage units from Storage Hunter? Otherwise, it's a power washing simulator game. A super chillax kind of game, just cleaning off random shit. How does it get like this? There's graffiti and then there's shitting on the floor. Something ain't right here. The roof too? Jesus. No, seriously, Jesus. Lord have mercy. It's not for everybody, but I still think it delivered in the right ways. Remember how I critiqued Peak because I'm bad at it? Just reminding you. Next up is Secret Agent Wizard Boy and the Crime Syndicate. This is pure proof dangling keys works on me. This game's biggest selling point is that it runs like a PS2 Harry Potter game. I'll take 20. The game is super in early access and almost feels like it should have waited a bit before releasing as it only had one update as writing this, but I gotta give credit, this game is super fun. You go around as a secret agent Hogwarts student having to find different crystals to open the door. This is so far the only mission in the game with more on the way. Once again, I think I'll let my honest reactions to this game's stupidity speak for itself.
Oh my god! I just died! Is that... I died again! What the fuck? Harry! That's not Sandra, that's Harry Potter, that's the model! That's the model they used in the Harry Potter games! Kill her. Uh-oh, whoa!
Do you like my vanish weed?
Do you like my vanish weed?
Qualify.
I'm sorry, my bones broke? She has another one.
Don't even think about pulling some funny business.
Yeah, stop talking in my ear, bro.
Only green students are allowed in
Only
here.
green students? That's racist.
Alright, here's what I'm gonna do. Whoa! Oh, wait, I can do a ragdoll. Oh.
Oh boy, the big selling point of the Switch 2, Mario Kart World. I sure hope Xander has something good to say about it. It's good. Yep, the day one release with the Switch 2, Mario Kart World is a fine game. It has some great tracks. Obviously, the whole open world feel of it is good. What's my problem? Well, it's not that great a system seller. I've only got one more Switch 2 game to talk about, and we're lucky it's a lot higher because otherwise, this year would not have been good at selling the Switch 2. I'm not even including Welcome Tour, but Legend ZA was both a Switch and Switch 2 game. This game is fine and gets the job done, but didn't really sell the Switch 2 for me. Obviously, the one that's way higher did better, but on top of that, there's two other games I didn't even get to play and I don't think are really system sellers. Metroid Prime 4 I've heard mixed things about, and that was a Switch 1 release too. Kirby Air Rider seems fine, but nothing I'd argue buying a new system for. I really do hope going into year 2 with the Switch 2, we can get some serious system sellers because I'm desperate. With that, let's talk about my top 5 favorite tracks in Mario Kart Worlds. Coming in at a smooth number 5 is Great Question Block Ruins. Any track that uses old school Mario props is an A+ in my book, and I failed too many times recording the track run. Coming in at number 4 is Wario Stadium, keeping to the series constant of always having good Wario tracks. The colors really shine and I like the engine about to absolutely smoke me here. Good touch, Wario. At number 3, we got Boo Cinema. This one's just cool. A movie theater where you drive into the movie. You can't get any more meta than that. James Cameron wishes his movies could be that immersive. Taking second is the Mario Galaxy track because it's the Mario Galaxy track. I like the water. And my number 1 Mario Kart World track is DK Spaceport. It looks nice. Anyways, Cross Worlds is better. Get over it, nerds. I've mentioned in the past that recently FNAF has kind of felt bare. Security Breach was obviously a mess, Into the Pit had no eyes on it. Well, thankfully we got Secret of the Mimic, which was exactly what FNAF fans needed. This one is like Security Breach, but it doesn't suck. So if there's one thing I just hate in horror games, it's being chased. I feel like I'm doing this a lot, but here are my recorded reactions.
Rocktopus!
Could potentially be inside any costume or character that you see.
I've seen like 5!
Take a deep breath and get back in there. Finish the job.
Are you
and that
fucking
$25
joking?
gift certificate is as good as yours.
I don't want no damn $25
certificate.
certificate.
Check. Testing.
What the fuck? Ah! Oh my god. Oh Gabe, I thought that motherfucker was gonna get me. He ain't in the water. Ah! What the fuck? Oh my god, hold on. I don't even know where the fuck he came from. God damn, Gabe, if you don't run.
2 Point Museum was a much needed return to the 2 Point series. I've mentioned my love for museums in the past, and this game delivers the real museum experience. And of course, it's done in that classic 2 Point style. There are 2 DLCs out that add Zooseums and Fantasy Finds. Okay, we're losing the plot here, but they were super cheap DLCs, and honestly, they do add to the overall experience rather than be crucial to it. Again, like most of these simulators I've played, it's really good at doing its one job right. Goob Lagoon. There, I made the queso reference. Water Park Simulator is definitely on the higher end of simulators this year. This one's just dumb fun. It's really just one of those ridiculous games you wouldn't expect to be that good, but damn it, Water Park Simulator always comes through. Ooh, Purple Lamp. Ooh, y'all got a little too close to beating Battle for Bikini Bottom. Quick, make a Gamemill level SpongeBob game. Fuck, Titans of the Tide must have been Purple Lamp's exact response to my bitching about Cosmic Shake. Even then, I didn't have that many issues with it, and would even say it's the closest competition to Battle for Bikini Bottom, but doesn't even matter because Titans of the Tide is no joke, the second best SpongeBob game I've ever played. It's a platformer, like most SpongeBob games, where you play as SpongeBob and Patrick by swapping places with your BFF rings. Okay, that's cool enough callback to the show. King Neptune and Flying Dutchman get into a fierce brawl and start fucking up Bikini Bottom. The thing I love about this is the challenge of it. It's not difficult, but there are certain puzzles that do require a bit of thinking. And there's parkour. How many SpongeBob games have parkour? The game just had so many things that, as a long-time player of SpongeBob games, and that is on my resume, they impressed me. So it does kind of hurt that the one problem I have with it keeps it from being the best SpongeBob game. It is too damn short. 3 to 4 hours to finish the main story, and the side quests don't take long either. Purple Lamp really made a damn good SpongeBob game here, one for the ages, and you mean to tell me they didn't bother making it longer? They really could have had a masterpiece on their hands. But of course, let's also include the Search for SquarePants DLC, which came out in December. Yes, there was a SpongeBob movie releasing that month. Purple Lamp also gave us a $10 DLC. Yeah, nitpick I have to give this game was that it is very focused on DLC, and I don't know, it's weird for me that a SpongeBob game needs it. It even has a season pass, and I'm kinda sick of those in games. But I played through the Search for SquarePants DLC hoping I'd see her, and I didn't. Actually, if you took out the underworld, don't make me qual secure. Oh my god, you don't get any fucking candy. The DLC almost has nothing to do with Search for SquarePants. Even the final boss, which by the way, you get to do after 5 levels, sheesh, it's not the Dutchman or even one of the underworld monsters, it's just 2 ghosts from the base game painted differently. With that, I will say these levels are fun. And while I saw some lazy stuff going on with the dialogue just being reused from the main game, I thought it was fine. For $5, $10 is a bit much. But otherwise, they did their homework, dude. They offered a really fun SpongeBob game that stood out from the competition. And if they made it longer, we would have had the best SpongeBob game by far. With that, it's still number 2, so good job. I'm a former film student who has forced his happiness onto making YouTube videos. Of course, The Executive is a game I'd play. Another simulator game where you run a movie studio. That's fucking gold potential. And I remember it releasing to a little bit of an underwhelming response, but the endless mode, workshop compatibility, new IPs, and ways to make your studio shine. This made for one hell of a time for me, especially in sandbox mode. Welcome to Morningwood Studios. Are you shocked that's the name of it? We got some classics like Kanye Goes to Hollywood, Kanye Goes to Germany, Kanye's Last Stand, The Smurf Father, Parts 1 and 2. The Smurf Father Part 1 actually won an award. We won the whole management system is a bit complicated, but otherwise, this is an underrated gem in 2025 simulators. What a surprise. So a few years ago, a game called TMNT Shredder's Revenge came out, and as kind of an outsider to beat 'em ups, it did become one of my favorite. The pixel style and the smooth controls made it a fun experience with Michael. Well, in the Big 25, they made another game, Marvel Cosmic Invasion. While I do think Shredder's Revenge is a better game, they really did cook with Cosmic Invasion. The story is the world is being taken over by bugs, and it's up to a bunch of Marvel superheroes to save the day. Beat up bad guys and make your way through the level. Like Shredder's Revenge, it's so smooth, and it just clearly took serious effort to make movesets for each of these heroes. At first it was a little weird that Beto Ray Bill and whoever this is made the cut, but Thor didn't. The roster didn't distract, and I know they really did put pretty much the best variety they could. If I had any major complaint, it is a little too easy, but then sometimes it randomly gets hard. We died to this boss fight out of nowhere and had to restart the whole level over. With that, Cosmic Invasion was such a nice surprise, and I was happy to play it with my boy Squigs. When I first talked about Double Fine's puzzle adventure Keeper, I complained that the gameplay was too simple and didn't have enough variety to keep the game interesting. I said that after playing through the first chapter. Again, be lucky, the monthly rankings are purely temporary. Keeper almost made my best tier. This game and the game after it could have been 8 out of 10s. They just needed one last push. The game follows a sentient lighthouse. They made Psychonauts, this is normal for them, as he travels to the top of the mountain with a birdie friend. But it seems some evil force wants to make him fall. The first chapter isn't bad. It sets up how the lighthouse works and the main idea of focusing your light onto something to make it do something specific. But then we get to the exact reason I love this damn studio, the weird shit. We turn into a boat at some point. I don't question it for a second. The entire third act were pretty much just the light speeding through these routes like a damn Beyblade. There's a segment where we have to turn time backwards and forwards depending on what the level needs. If something's blocked off, we more than likely have to turn time backwards. And dude, this is the Double Fine magic I was literally talking about in my October review. I just needed to be patient and get to the second chapter. Now, I can't act like the magic works all the time. Pretty much the entirety of the boat segment of the game is a little slow and a bit tedious to get through. The same goes for the final chapter, even though the ending, the last level of gameplay, visually overwhelming. My epilepsy peeps, look away real quick. What can I really say? It is in most ways that Double Fine magic that has made games like Psychonauts, Costume Quest, Brutal Legend, and now I can say this, stand out in ways I wish would make the company more well known. It feels like people know the games, but Psychonauts was literally a commercial flop. That was their first big game, and I wish people would give these guys a chance. They've made almost no bad games, so please check them out if you get the chance. They are phenomenal. I might do a Double Fine ranking sometime. Just outside of the 8 out of 10s, we got South of Midnight. I started playing this for my April review, and admittedly, I thought it was good at first, but it needed more to stand out. Of course, the latter half of the game was when we started getting really good. Taking heavy inspiration from the voodoo folklore scene of New Orleans, we play as Hazel, who becomes a weaver and sets out to save her mom. We fight these creatures that actually represent emotional baggage. I thought that was clever. The whole game is a very fun clone of, and I can't believe I'm saying it, Dark Souls. I suck at Dark Souls, but this was a much easier, but still very fun and creative take on the gameplay style. On top of that, this game is fucking weird, dude. The narrator is a giant catfish. Don't look at me like that. I also like the style of the game. It looks like stop motion, but it isn't at the same time. And overall, the game offers enough fun levels and bosses to go through. And the music kicks such ass, dude. I love the inspiration from jazz, which of course is big in that area. My biggest complaint, however, is Hazel. She is really fucking annoying. I remember saying to myself, yes, good observation, dummy, like multiple times, dude. I don't know if it was just the writing or her voice. I don't think it was the voice. She has a very, like, I think of Keke Palmer's delivery with it. It's just that she says some of the most obvious shit. I don't know if she's just pointing out what I have to do or whatever, but it got annoying. Also, the final boss just wasn't that great in my opinion. Really could have given something worthwhile, and it wasn't that at all. But man, it came close to my top tier. Just have to point out those problems. And on the other hand, this is a total win of a game. I hope the studio makes more. Okay, so here's my biggest gaming hot take. I don't care for extraction shooters. Yep, Call of Duty, Battlefield, even some of the big ones this year like Arc Raiders, they just don't interest me. But I did play one that needs to be mentioned, Battlefield 6. I know the Battlefield series kind of went downhill a little bit over the years, but to what I can gather, this was the push it needed. The campaign is fine, but the clear winner here is the multiplayer. I've heard so many people say the multiplayer for this game more than made up for the mid-campaign. And I can agree to an extent. It obviously had some really good audio as it won the Game Award for it, and I don't really know what else I can say except it's fun. It delivers exactly what Battlefield should deliver. Again, this is why I don't play like Black Ops 7 or Arc Raiders. I just don't think it's a genre of games I'm really that into, and I can't say much. Whew boy, the Nintendo fanboys will have my cheeks. Sonic Racing Crossworld is a better Mario Kart world, I don't care what the Game Awards had to say. This is a much more fun kart racer, and I found myself easily playing it more than Mario Kart. Of course, the Crossworld's twist just kicked ass, dude, allowing whoever's in first to choose the second track that ties together with the first track. It really adds a sense of anticipation. It's literally what Mario Kart World was trying to do, but Crossworlds did it better in a way that's unique to it. Of course, the DLC characters are fun, though I don't have most of them due to budget problems. SpongeBob and Minecraft, dude, what is going on? Also, Sega has to know about the Snapcube Sonic Riders dub, because why else is Hatsune Miku here? I will admit, I think Mario Kart World had a few better tracks, but as a racing game, Crossworlds is a much better experience. And that main song, Sonic games don't have much, but the music is always a plus.
Sonic Racing, all around the world, stepping heaven, make your tires burn, your brakes are treasure, gas every turn.
You want to know when I started recording Jurassic World Evolution 3? No joke, December 31st. I initially was going to have a cutoff of when I could play certain games for the first time, but I think I just need to commit to the bit where there's one Jurassic property in each of these rankings. 2025 was a year for the Dino fans, and adding to the fucking movie y'all got, we also have the third game in Frontier's Jurassic World Evolution series. Now, Frontier, of course, also made Planet Coaster, which is one of my favorite simulation games of all time, and I'll admit, I was a little unfamiliar with the Evolution series, but man, I see the appeal. You manage your own Jurassic Park because the movies show that's always a good idea. You gotta manage dinosaurs and their habitats, and that's cool and all. You wanna see my favorite part? Yeehaw! I'm fixing fences, bitches! I don't even have any other words. This is incredible. The fact you can just take over the maintenance people is just really fun. Again, I played this without playing the other two, so I don't know what features were added here. Also, is that actually Jeff Goldblum? Sounds just like him.
Ignore the roaming velociraptors.
The sandbox mode is of course fun, but I do recommend going through the campaign because this isn't as user-friendly as Planet Coaster. With that, this game was a lot of fun and an unexpected close call to my top 10. So here's a fun fact about my grandfather you probably didn't know. He worked at a light show in my hometown for years before his death, and such, a game like Light Up the Town just spoke to me. A game where you play as this little fucking kid, god damn it, I love this thing. As you go through the town and put up lights to bring up the holiday cheer. You can either put up lights meticulously, like I tried to do at first, or, if you're chaotic enough, you'll just do this. Why are you doing this? I have to clean this up! Fuck you. This game is obviously very cozy and very comfortable. There's no right way to do the objective, you just do the objective. When did this come into play? Sorry if my gameplay lags as I show the latter half of this game, but out of nowhere we get the bright idea to go to the tower and turn the town's power back on. It's surprisingly tense, and most of the last scene in the game is just a cutscene, but otherwise it was such a nice and comfortable game. I didn't really need to think about it, I just did it, and I had fun. Bean, these lights look like fucking garbage. Taking the first spot of my top 10 was one of the many indie wins this year, Schedule 1. A drug dealer simulation game made by one person. Yep, this one, Tyler, made this entire game, and it is one of the most fun games of the year. You gotta run your own drug ring while avoiding cops and keeping customers happy. While the base gameplay is fine on its own, this is the best part, making your own strand of drugs. This entire segment will alert someone in the FBI. I'm talking about a game, y'all. These are just a variety of the drugs we made. I really don't know how else to say it. This was just a really fun game. It took both no skill, but also enough skill to get the absolute chokehold we had on this town. For being made by one person, this game is a total winner.
I don't want Peter File!
Mega Bonk. Sometimes I don't need to be good at games to enjoy them. You move around and kill enemies to gain XP to get stronger against those enemies. Like Schedule 1, there's not much to this game, but at the same time, there is a lot. This gotta be how Miles felt in Across the Spider-Verse.
Hey, what's up, Danger?
You can unlock more characters and weapons to make your journey a little easier. Certain characters unlock other parts of the game.
Hey, what's up, Danger?
Certain enemies have different abilities, so you have to remember what's going on. Certain XP gains can help take on this wall of enemies that much easier.
Hey, what's up, Danger?
Some things around the map can be curses, the boss fights become increasingly challenging.
Hey, what's up, Danger?
Just overall, Megabonk understood how to make a game you'll die multiple times, but still have fun playing. Yet another indie win for the year, Repo. My god, what a really, really fun game that went from a charming small game that I thought only me and my friends knew about, to a game that just transcended comedy and gaming. It's a horror game where you play as a semi-bot collecting different objects to sell to your boss in order to progress to the next level. But of course, the monsters are out to get you. Certain monsters have different abilities and different ways to avoid them. But for some of them, pray to your robot god, you ain't escaping them. And of course, Semi-Works' constant communication just on where the game's big updates are and what will be in them just really makes me happy this game did good. They even went into detail on how Repo was kind of a make-or-break title for them, as their first game didn't do that well. But Repo was that win they needed, and I love it for them. Again, I hate to do this, but I really think highlighting me and my friends' reactions to this game is a good way to get across how fun it was.
No, go Archer!
Nah.
Get open!
Yes, he will die. He will die. He ain't gonna clutch. Oh, he didn't even die. Nice one. Uh-oh.
No, why me? I didn't do it!
That music doesn't just happen for no reason.
Get! Yeah, baby! I know I didn't... You to be mine again, baby!
Oh my god, no, Becca. Over there, Gabe. We can't die, hit myself with it.
No!
Oh, I want to put this so much higher, but really, all these games are so close to each other, it's just a difficult time. The Midnight Walk is a short but fun adventure horror game where you play as a burned entity alongside the stupid pot boy. You take the Midnight Walk as the game's title suggests, and along the way you come across creatures and all sorts of shit trying to kill you and pot boy. You may have picked up the game uses a stop motion style, and I always love stop motion. The entire game is just solving puzzles and avoiding entities to make it to the end of the Midnight Walk. The entities, I'll admit, weren't that scary to me, honestly, except for these fucking things. I actually cannot stand these things. Maybe it's the spider-esque design or the face opening up, just ew. Each entity has different ways to combat it, and while at first it was difficult to figure out, once you did, it was all about solving the puzzles, which are really good. At the end, you're given a choice of either making Pop Boy continue lighting up the sun, costing his life, or making him stop, but costing us the sun. It is a rough choice, as I will admit, the little dumbass grew on me. The Pop Boy AI is so stupid. He would just be having a good old time laughing it up outside of the closet I'm hiding in. Overall, my biggest complaint is the length again, but honestly, I forgive it a bit more because of this being stop motion. Otherwise, the Midnight Walk was a good damn game, and such an underrated one. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to get some dislikes. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 isn't even in my top 5. I'm sorry, y'all, I liked it, loved it even. It's just I don't get the GOTY hype. Call it that maybe turn-based ain't my biggest thing, but I just didn't get into the game the way the others did. With that, I still see why people like it. Of course, it looks gorgeous when you consider its indie status. We of course get to know the characters and learn to love them, obviously. The story is pretty damn good, especially after the first act. It gets really crazy. And the one thing I enjoyed with the combat was the parry. I didn't always get this right, but when I did, it was smooth and satisfying. Again, don't take it not being in my top 5 as a sign that it's not a good game, because that's not the case at all. I thought this was a really, really good game, and I think my personal preferences stopped it from being in the top 5 for me. Really, this and number 5 were interchangeable, and I went back and forth on which one I enjoyed more or which one deserved it. Even then, this game won GOTY at the Game Awards, so clearly it did something right. So good job to it for that. It's still a great game and one of the best of the year, obviously. I just had 5 other games I enjoyed more. Dislike the video now. Donkey Kong Bananza, the exact reason to buy a Switch 2 in 2025. I hope 2026 gives me more reasons, but for now, Donkey Kong Bananza was a hell of a fun time. Of course, following Donkey Kong and Pauline going through the world's layers to stop Void Kong from voiding out the world's core. Of course, the big selling point is that most of the levels are almost completely destructible. This makes for chaotic and fun gameplay alongside the levels being fun in their own right. And of course, the Bananzas. My mic wasn't always on for the first transformations, but you can guess I was laughing hard at these. They looked so goofy, and yet the abilities they give work really well, and the music to accompany each of them is also top tier. I will admit Pauline got on my nerves. I get she's a kid, but Jesus, she got annoying. She was this game's Navi, I'm sorry y'all. With that, it was just a really fun game. I'll admit my top game isn't a platformer like it was last year, but platformers are just fun, and DK Bananza understood that. For that, it starts off my killer top 5. Okay, so there's a game that came out years ago called Before Your Eyes, a heartbreaking look into the life of a kid who died of cancer. Obviously a game that would mentally destroy me, so don't worry, the company made another gut punch. Goodnight Universe isn't as heartbreaking as Before Your Eyes, but it is a nice dive into identity and purpose. Two things I definitely struggled with this year. The game follows a baby named Isaac. However, Isaac starts demonstrating weird powers that, of course, attract the attention of a nerdy CEO. We learn about the family Isaac has, and of course, learn that it's not Isaac with these powers, but an alien. Trust me, if you play the game, it makes sense. Of course, this game has similar gameplay mechanics to Before Your Eyes, except I think they actually took a step further. There's a power that allows you to read people's minds. I'm going to show you guys the entirety of this one bit with the dad.
16K medical bills, 5K on childcare, 2K on formula, 4K on insurance. Who knew we'd need this much insurance? 1K on food that's not even solid.
Let's stop thinking about it.
In 7 months, that's been what, 20K?
36, but who's counting?
$36,000. What would you even do with 36?
I
I know exactly what I'd do. I'd quit my job for 6 months.
Not this again.
I'd finally start my own software company.
Stop.
Bring on investors.
Who do you think you are? Who do you know?
You know, I'd only wear cashmere
You know about
sweaters.
cashmere
The
sweaters.
less thinking you do, the better.
When I think I get angry.
And why would you be angry?
Well, she insisted on this baby.
Not that again.
Which means staying at this job.
Please
Which
don't.
She knows I hate.
But you love him, right?
Of course.
Let's just say I called my dad after hearing that. The game is still emotional in a different way than Before Your Eyes. The entire middle part of this game is told through the journal of the grandpa who dies in the beginning. And man, it is a tough watch, but also very heartbreaking when you learn the story of the grandfather. We learn the struggles of the teenage daughter who expected to go to MIT but doesn't want to, and she has legitimate reasons to not want to. But easily the hardest character to watch for me was the mother. She is a very good representation of the overstressed mother who wants everything to be perfect. That is my mother to a T. But then there's the whole identity thing they talk about, and it can be taken so many ways. Of course, you can take it as a depression thing, not knowing who you are or where you are in life. Some people I'm sure can take it as an identity thing for their sexuality. Of course, I'm not LGBTQ, but I can see this being a message for someone struggling with that. If I have any LGBTQ people in my community, please consider playing this game and tell me what you take from it. That's what I loved about this game, man. So many messages from it, and yet it still found itself to be a fun game. Overall, I really enjoyed it, so good job to Skybound Games.
Something I always liked about this company, Skybound, is that yes, you have to look at it from the perspective of it's a baby who meets an alien, but there's just so many things you can take from the little details, and that's what I've always loved about Before Your Eyes and really just any of the games they've made. For me, the biggest thing was seeing the dad when we look in on his mind. You know that my dad, God bless him, he just does so much, and I'm gonna text him real quick. The thing that got me at the end was the story of how, you know, he felt safe with the alien, and you know the alien started saying stuff like, you know, he might not have much time, but he wants to write him a story, and I started thinking a lot about, like, you know, about people who had very little time left but chose to make the most out of it. And that was my grandfather. Yeah. I think that also didn't help that the other character was the grandfather, you know, that was a lot, man. Shit. Fuck! That's 2 games that this company has made that has got me bawling like a fucking baby. This was awesome. I loved this. This is one of my favorite games this year. Good job to Skybound for that. For the longest time, Split Fiction was my best game of 2025.
I can safely now say it isn't, but it's still third place, and from March when I played it to literally December, nothing beat it. With that, this is the third game from Hazelight, who notably makes big co-op adventure games. A Way Out and It Takes Two being their previous titles. And may I say, this is their best title by a long shot. Of course, I played this with Gabe, and yeah, expect a highlight reel of him pissing me off. You play as two wannabe writers who, through a mishap at a publishing company, get sucked into each other's stories. From there, you go through the mainline stuff, but there's the side stories, and they're equally fun. The big thing here is the fun. It is without a doubt the most fun game of 2025. The different levels, and especially the side stories, I think those took the lead for me. There's just so many side stories I definitely found more fun than the main quest, and the main quest was still fun. It offered so much better than even the last few Hazelight titles, which I enjoyed too. Split Fiction is a fun time, and I really loved it. Now here's the Gabe highlight reel.
Get the bomb! Kobe! You are throwing it too far, Gabe! Gabe, catch it! Catch it! What in God's fucking name is wrong with you? Why? Why can't you just be normal? Why do you have to be so fucking stupid? Do it!
In tonight.
Alright, throw! Man, that was my fault. Oh wait, you got it. What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Oh! Okay! You threw it! Why did you throw it? You had it! Oh my god.
Number 2 is Dispatch. Phew, talk about an emotional roller coaster. From as early as the Game Award trailer they showed off last year, I knew I wanted to play this game. A Telltale-inspired superhero game about a former superhero dispatching a Z-Team list of former villains. Of course, being inspired by Telltale games, there's multiple choices throughout the 8 episodes where they will come back to help you or haunt you. I won't go into every choice, but I'll go through the ones I remembered. In episode 1, you have to choose to either splash flambe with alcohol or water. Flambe was pissing me the fuck off, so I chose alcohol thinking this was just setting us up for the choice-making stuff in the game. Of course, flambe is part of the Z-Team. With that, we also have who to cut in episode 3, I think, Coop or Sonar. I was not cutting Sonar, so I chose Coop, as she was really one of the weaker characters for me, honestly, but as it turns out later, she comes back in a way that hurts us. The big romancing triangle between either Blonde Blazer and Visigal, and let's just say, I like me a tomboy. Blonde Blazer's bad in her own right, but man, oh, look at her, my Shayla! There's the choice of revealing her identity to the Z-Team, and I definitely had the toughest time, but I chose to reveal myself. The choice of cutting Vizzy from the team, that was probably the hardest choice in the game for me. I actually came down to the second on that choice. Even the small stuff like asking Chase what snack you want in the flashback scene of episode 7, or even choosing whether you want Phenomenon or Waterboy. Every choice, whether it matters in the long run or not, felt like I was making a very important choice. And that wouldn't work if 99% of the characters didn't leave an impact. Of course, Robert's a great main character, and I gotta say, I knew Aaron Paul was his voice, but it took me a while to hear it. Of course, Blonde Blazer's great, Vizzy makes it tough to love her, but damn it, I'm persistent. Even the smallest character have things I liked about them. Sure, I complained about Coop, but she's not a bad character. Sonar, of course, is voiced by Moist Critical and became one of my favorite characters easy. Punch Up is voiced by Jacksepticeye, and when I found out what his power was, I laughed for a good few minutes. Like, half the game, I don't even know what he's supposed to do, but then the fight scene with Hose Depressed playing in the background starts, and it's phenomenal, dude. Gollum is voiced by Young Gravy, and I didn't even realize it until halfway through the game. Prism is voiced by the woman who made the songs here, Thought Squad, and honestly, she's underrated. She gets some good laughs. Bitch, you blind forever. Malevola? Why couldn't I romance her? That's all I got. I guess Flambe started getting good around episode 6. Even the villain Shroud, I kinda like that he's not prominent in the game, but he's still a lurking threat. Waterboy kinda got on my nerves, but he's not too bad, and he's voiced by Joel Haver, come on. I'll admit, the twist with Phenomenon was really good, and I choose not to spoil it. Man, I could go on and on about these characters. They are so good. Even the other dispatchers have something going on with them. I constantly question, what is his story? What possibly could be the reason for him being there? I almost thought I'd get an answer with this scene, but no. All of this, and I haven't even scratched the dispatching. This is also fun because you have to know which heroes work for certain scenarios, and I never felt like it was tearing the game down. I actually had to think about the characters and their personalities presented in the game's cutscenes. Everything about the game is so damn clever and so fun. On top of that, the characters and choices are tough. You know hard choices are coming, and they still are hard choices. Like I said, there were multiple towards the end of the game I had serious trouble with. It came close to my top game, however, one other game just inched to my top. My number one game of 2025, you're not going to agree with me, and that's okay. Blueprints. This puzzle game dropped very quietly around April, and I didn't even play it until June, but I soon realized just the game I was about to get into. Blueprints has you going through this E-state where each room changes based on what you map out. You have a limited number of steps each day that goes down with each room you map out or go through. The more you play, the more you realize what you have to do to make it through the final room. Even when you do though, there's still another thing you have to do. With this concept, you'd think coming so close to the end only to realize there was something else you had to do would make it a frustrating experience. And while yes, it did, I never felt defeated. I felt pushed in a way no other game did for me. When I messed up or did something wrong, mapped out the wrong room by accident, I wasn't frustrated or annoyed, I just said, screw it, let's push forward and see what else I can do before the day ends. The strategy of the game also added to it. Knowing which route you can take in the E-state to take the fewest steps so you can get where you need to go. Trying to map out rooms that give extra steps. The puzzles within each room getting increasingly harder the more you played. All this led to one of the best endgames I've seen in recent years. The puzzles all add up to one big thing you have to do in order to solve the final puzzle of the game. After I'd finished, I kinda just sat there, knowing it was my pure curiosity of what happened next that kept me going. Sure, it's not just because Blueprints is fun like Astrobot, but Blueprints was a game I thought about months after playing. This was initially much lower, but as I started finishing up my rankings, I realized Dispatch, Split Fiction, even Clair Obscur, they're good games, but I didn't really think about them after finishing them. I did with this game, and the craziest part, it was free for me. It was on both Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, and I ended up playing it on the latter, and what I experienced had me wanting more. I know the creators stated they weren't going to do much on updates or sequels, but I guess that's okay. They delivered a crazy game, and I really have to stress, if you have one of those services, play it. It blew my mind in a way no other game this decade has achieved. I can't wait to read the comments, I'll probably just kill myself. Bye.